Kevin Costner, a name that has defined decades of Hollywood, from epic blockbusters to quiet, unforgettable performances. At 70, many fans have long wondered the same thing: what drives him, what regrets he holds, and what he truly thinks about the roles, fame, and life that have followed him through the years. Now, for the first time, Costner is speaking candidly, offering insights that surprise, inspire, and even challenge the image the public has carried for decades. In a rare, intimate interview, Costner reflects on the choices that shaped his career, from starring in films that became cultural milestones to navigating the highs and lows of Hollywood. He opens up about lessons learned both on screen and off. Fans have speculated for years about his personal life, his approach to acting, and even his thoughts on fame, but his answers reveal a depth rarely seen in the press. What makes this revelation so compelling is not just the nostalgia of his most iconic roles, but the honesty behind his words. At an age when many actors settle into comfort or reflection, Costner continues to confront the questions that have followed him for decades. And in doing so, he invites fans to see not just the actor, but the man behind the legacy, a man who still surprises, still reflects, and still inspires. In this exclusive look, we uncover the stories and truths Kevin Costner has finally decided to share. Kevin Costner has always been more than a Hollywood icon. From his breakout roles in the 1980s and 1990s to his continued presence in film and television today, he represents a rare combination of charisma, versatility, and dedication to his craft. At 70, Costner reflects on a life that has been lived largely in the public eye, yet still managed to maintain a sense of authenticity that many of his peers struggle to achieve. Throughout his career, Costner has been associated with epic storytelling. Films like Dances with Wolves, which won him Academy Awards for Best Director and Best Picture, showcased his ability to balance cinematic spectacle with deeply human storytelling. Yet for fans, curiosity has always extended beyond the accolades. They have wondered what motivates him, what regrets he may harbor, and how he navigates the pressures of fame decades into his career. In recent interviews, Costner has addressed these questions with an openness that surprises many. He speaks candidly about the challenges of Hollywood, acknowledging the highs of blockbuster success and the lows of films that didn't resonate with critics or audiences. For Costner, the focus has always been on the work itself rather than the public's perception. "I choose projects that speak to me," he explains. "Some will succeed, some won't, but the measure is in what I've learned and experienced along the way." This mindset reflects a maturity cultivated over decades, one that allows him to separate personal satisfaction from external validation. Beyond the screen, Costner reveals a deep connection to his own personal values. Fans have long speculated about his private life, from family to friendships and even his interests outside acting. He emphasizes balance, explaining that maintaining relationships and staying grounded has been just as important as pursuing professional achievements. "Life is bigger than any role," he says. "I've learned to appreciate the people and moments that don't come with cameras or scripts." Costner also reflects on the enduring curiosity of his audience. For years, fans have wondered what drives him, what his philosophy on life is, and how he approaches both success and failure. At 70, he offers insight with a calm wisdom, blending humility with a clear sense of purpose. He acknowledges mistakes, embraces lessons, and shares the perspective that comes only with age and experience. His openness is especially striking given the nature of Hollywood, in an industry often defined by image management and public relations. Costner has always maintained a straightforward authenticity. Whether discussing iconic performances, personal setbacks, or life choices, he communicates in a way that resonates because it feels genuine. It is this blend of honesty and craft that has kept audiences engaged for more than decades. Finally, Costner reflects on his career not as a series of individual roles, but as a continuous journey. Each film, each character, represents of experience, learning, and personal growth. Fans who have admired him over the years gain a deeper understanding of the person behind the performances, a man committed to storytelling, family, and living a life true to his own values. At 70, Kevin Costner is still evolving, still exploring, and still providing insights that answer the questions fans have carried for decades. The curiosity that surrounds him is met not with guarded answers, but with reflection, humility, and the kind of perspective that only a lifetime in Hollywood and in life can provide. Kevin Costner's career has been defined by versatility and a willingness to take risks. From small roles in the early 1980s to starring in some of the most iconic films of the 1990s, he has consistently chosen projects that challenge both his craft and the expectations of audiences. In recent reflections, Costner acknowledges that the choices he made were often guided less by commercial considerations and more by personal conviction. He recalls the experience of filming Dances with Wolves, a project that many at the time considered ambitious, even risky. Costner directed and starred in the film, immersing himself in Native American culture, history, and language. The project was not just a professional milestone, it was a personal journey. Looking back, he describes the work as transformative, shaping his approach to storytelling and his understanding of the power of film to communicate meaningful narratives. It taught me patience and responsibility, he says. I learned that the stories that matter most aren't always the easiest to tell, but they are the ones worth telling. Costner also reflects on other iconic roles, from Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves to The Bodyguard and Field of Dreams. Each film, he says, carried unique lessons. Some projects brought immense success and recognition, while others were less well received. Yet for him, the measure of a performance or a film's value lies in the integrity of the work itself. I've never chased accolades, he explains. The goal has always been to create something true to the story and honest to the audience. Beyond professional achievements, Costner opens up about the personal dimensions of his life, which fans have always speculated about. Family, friendships, and the quieter moments away from the spotlight are what he emphasizes most. He describes his approach to balancing fame with personal fulfillment as a deliberate process, one that has required reflection and intentional choices. Hollywood can be a whirlwind, he admits. If you don't take care of yourself and the people you love, you'll lose sight of what really matters. Costner also shares insights on resilience. In Hollywood, success can be fleeting, and public opinion can shift quickly. He has faced criticism, box office failures, and career setbacks, yet he has consistently returned to the work with renewed focus. Failure is part of the journey, he says. It's a teacher. What matters is how you respond and what you take from it. This perspective, he notes, is not just applicable to acting but to life itself, offering lessons for fans, aspiring actors, and anyone pursuing a long-term passion. Another area that has fascinated fans is Costner's relationship with his craft. At 70, he continues to act, direct, and produce, demonstrating a dedication that goes beyond mere career longevity. He discusses the importance of choosing roles that resonate with him, even if they are unconventional or challenging. I've learned to trust my instincts, he says. Not every project will be a hit, but if it moves me, I know it can move others as well. This philosophy reflects a focus on authenticity rather than popularity, a trait that has earned him lasting respect in Hollywood. Finally, Costner offers reflections that address a question fans have long wondered. What motivates him now? At this stage of life, he emphasizes the desire to continue telling stories that matter, exploring characters that are complex, and leaving a meaningful legacy. At 70, I'm still curious, he says, still learning, still trying to make films that connect with people on a deeper level. That's what keeps me going. Through these reflections, Kevin Costner gives fans not just a glimpse into his career, but into the values and principles that have guided him for decades: honesty, resilience, and a dedication to storytelling that remains as strong today as it did when he first stepped onto the screen. For Kevin Costner, life in Hollywood has always been about more than fame or accolades. Fans have long wondered how he balances the pressures of public attention with the need for personal fulfillment, and at 70, he finally offers a candid perspective. Costner emphasizes that the secret lies in maintaining a sense of grounding, surrounding himself with family, and focusing on projects that resonate personally rather than simply chasing success. He reflects on the early years of his career, when every opportunity seemed like a gamble. Some roles propelled him to international stardom, while others were missteps, commercially or critically. Yet, rather than allowing failures to define him, Costner says he learned from each experience. "You don't remember the critics who doubt you," he explains. "You remember the lessons, the moments on set, and the people you worked with. Those are the things that stay with you." This approach, he notes, has allowed him to maintain longevity in an industry known for fleeting attention spans. Costner also speaks about the challenges of balancing personal life with professional commitments, a topic that has long fascinated fans. He describes the importance of protecting family life from the glare of the spotlight. While Hollywood often magnifies personal details, Costner has prioritized creating a private world where relationships can flourish without constant scrutiny. "Family is everything," he says. "The work is meaningful, but it's not what defines you." Fans who have followed his career closely recognize this as a recurring theme. A man dedicated not only to his craft, but to the people who matter most. One of the most intriguing revelations comes when Costner discusses the misconceptions fans often hold about him. Many have speculated about his personality, his values, and even his motivations, often basing opinions on public appearances alone. Costner acknowledges that fame creates assumptions, but he stresses the importance of looking beyond surface impressions. "People think they know you from interviews or magazine covers, but that's only a fragment," he says. "The real story is lived in quiet moments, decisions made on and offset, and the lessons you carry forward." This perspective also shapes his approach to acting. Costner explains that his focus has always been on authenticity, finding roles that allow him to explore human complexity, rather than simply playing to audience expectations. He recalls filming intense dramas and expansive historical epics, reflecting on the responsibility of portraying characters with honesty and respect. Even after decades in Hollywood, he continues to challenge himself with roles that push boundaries and invite deeper reflection. "I still want to tell stories that matter," he says. "Stories that make people think, feel, and question themselves. That's what keeps me engaged." Costner also offers insight into the evolving nature of Hollywood and how he navigates its changing landscape. He recognizes the rise of streaming platforms, social media, and global audiences, but he remains focused on timeless elements of storytelling, character, emotion, and authenticity. In doing so, he positions himself not as a man chasing trends, but as one committed to lasting impact. "The industry changes," he notes, "but people always respond to honesty. That's what I aim for." Finally, Costner shares a reflection that fans have long wondered about: his legacy. At 70, he acknowledges that while accolades and box office numbers are meaningful, they are not the ultimate measure of his life. Instead, he values the stories he has told, the people he has touched through his work, and the lessons he has learned along the way. "Legacy isn't about trophies," he says. "It's about influence, growth, and the way you live your life beyond the camera." Through these candid reflections, Kevin Costner offers fans a rare glimpse into the man behind the film's figure, who remains deeply committed to his craft, his family, and a life lived with integrity and purpose. At 70, Kevin Costner is far from slowing down. Recent projects in film and television demonstrate a continued commitment to storytelling, with roles that reflect both his experience and his willingness to explore new dimensions of character. Fans may be surprised to learn how actively he engages in these projects, not just as an actor, but often as a producer or creative collaborator, shaping the stories he feels are meaningful. "I want to tell stories that resonate," he explains, "stories that stick with people long after the credits roll." Costner's philosophy extends beyond career choices. In interviews, he emphasizes the importance of balance and perspective, especially at this stage in life. He speaks about the value of patience, resilience, and understanding that success is measured not by awards or box office numbers, but by personal growth and the impact one leaves on others. "The biggest satisfaction comes from knowing you've given your best and remained true to yourself," he says. For fans who have followed his decades-long career, this offers a rare window into the principles that have guided him through Hollywood's highs and lows. Family, once again, emerges as a central theme. Costner describes how relationships and personal connections provide stability in a world often dominated by external pressures. The attention of fans and media, while flattering, is secondary to the relationships he has nurtured over the years. He reflects on the lessons learned from these bonds, emphasizing the importance of prioritizing meaningful connections over fleeting public recognition. At the end of the day, it's the people who matter, not the applause. He notes another element fans have long wondered about is his perspective on fame and public perception. Costner admits that while he values the admiration of audiences, he has never allowed it to define him. His approach has always been rooted in authenticity, choosing projects that challenge him, cultivating a private life that offers balance, and maintaining humility regardless of success or criticism. This consistency has earned him lasting respect, distinguishing him in an industry often criticized for superficiality and fleeting attention. Costner also addresses the notion of legacy, a topic many have speculated about as he reaches this milestone age. He sees legacy not in terms of accolades or iconic roles alone, but in the influence his work has had on audiences and the values he has demonstrated both on and off screen. Legacy isn't something you chase, it's something you live, he explains. This perspective highlights a lifelong commitment to integrity, craft, and thoughtful decision-making, offering fans a blueprint for both professional and personal fulfillment. Finally, Costner offers a reflection on what continues to drive him: curiosity, creativity, and the desire to make meaningful contributions through storytelling. Even at 70, he expresses excitement for new opportunities, a willingness to explore complex roles, and a dedication to leaving a positive impact on the industry. Fans who have admired him over decades gain a deeper understanding of the man behind the performance is a figure defined not just by his fame, but by his commitment to growth, honesty, and purposeful living. In summary, Kevin Costner's reflections at 70 reveal a man who has navigated Hollywood with patience, resilience, and authenticity. He continues to pursue meaningful work, cherish personal connections, and maintain a perspective that blends humility with wisdom. For fans, these insights answer long-standing questions about his motivations, values, and legacy, showing that even decades into a celebrated career, Costner remains a storyteller, a learner, and an individual deeply committed to living life on his own terms.